Welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters 10. We're still live in Cologne, Germany, and we have the last match from Open Bracket 1 just around the corner. It's going to be Heromarine versus Bly, but before that, we have Rotterdam, who joins as the #1 Twitch streamer.
That's me.
StarCraft 2, that is him.
I thought it was Nathanias.
No, I think it's quite clearly Roddy.
Yes, it depends on who has more free time, I guess. But you know, Nate
is it a battle between you?
Nate right now he has a social life. He's got a girlfriend, so I feel the title is up for grabs.
I heard about his girlfriend recently. I didn't know Nate had a girlfriend. I only found about this yesterday, I think it was.
She's Dutch, by the way.
She's Dutch?
Yeah.
How does Nate, living in California, get a Dutch girlfriend?
Yeah, well, it's a long story, but beautiful things do happen, Sean.
Beautiful things happen on the internet.
It was meant to be a match made in heaven. Anyway.
Just like us three, really. I mean, us three, we've traveled and casted all these StarCraft 2 tournaments. We've been going back a long time now. Very long time, Rotterdam, us three. And here we are in 2015, broadcasting the open bracket of the Intel Extreme Masters. And we can take a look at that open bracket. As I was getting lost in Rotterdam's eyes there for a second, I had to pull myself back into serious mode. As we have Heromarine versus Bly is the last match from the open bracket #1. Open bracket #2 has started, if you've only been watching the main stream, and we will be jumping into that right after this one. But it is one match to decide which player goes through with patience. But remember, there is another position available due to rain dropping out. So the loser of this would have to play against the third place finisher from Open Bracket 2 as well.
Which should be red or TLO? A rough estimation.
He's like, how tall is this building? I guess it's like 3 meters-ish. That's a rough guess, man. You really think it's like that accurate?
We'll see.
I have to look at the brackets first before I can make that prediction. What have you been missing so far, guys? Like, if you're me right now, you've had a busy morning, we do other things, it's like, all right, this bracket is almost done. What was the absolute highlight? What's the one thing you take away from this bracket so far?
Bly versus Man of the thing you just watched.
Yeah.
But, apart from the average casting from Claris and the, not so funny jokes by Pig.
And the outdated analysis from Todd?
Outdated analysis from Todd. Not that much, Roddy.
Okay.
Carmack, if you're watching, this guy wants a show match with me. Let's make it happen. We always do fun stuff at IEM.
Oh, but isn't he ranked higher than you in Grandmaster League right now?
Well, you always say that. He's not. By the way, you've been dodging a show match against Funka forever. I think it's time we reveal that to the public out there.
Nowadays. I'm just a host.
Guys, I will be tweeting if you want a show match of Apollo versus Funka to happen. Make sure you get on the social media. And I'm sure we can pressure him into doing it.
You know, mate, the pressure starts to build up, especially, when you lose a game. And, with the show match you guys are eventually going to have, my money's on this guy.
Sure.
That's how it goes down. That's how it goes down. But let's talk about these two players then. No, it's not. The guy can never beat me, man. He's just not Let's talk a little bit about Bly then. So, hashtag Bly on fire is, just about to come true if he's able to beat Heromarine here. But it's not going to be as easy as what it seemed that last match was.
I don't even think the last one was easy. I mean, he lost the first map and it looked even pretty decisively. I was like, well, I think this is going to be the end for Bly. Turning around, in typical Bly fashion, unorthodox builds. Like, he mind games into another mind game in game #2 on Coda. Like, it doesn't make any sense, and that's where Bly excels when games don't make any sense anymore. He's really good. But against the Terran, it's always harder to pull off that kind of stuff. And you guys mentioned it already briefly when I walked into the studio. Heromarine TvZ has been looking very solid lately.
Yeah, I think Bly's ZVT also, maybe I should wait until he's put his headphones on.
So, no, it's really bad. Really, really bad.
I don't think it's the best. I feel like his style fits perfectly to playing ZVP because you can surprise a lot. But against Terran, it's even if they go 3cc and he goes bailing nest and tries the bust, it feels like somehow he's going to fail anyway. So
yeah, I totally agree over here with Todd. I was talking a little bit with Trenchius, and I kind of feel the same way. Like, ZVP has always been a matchup where it allows the Zerg to maybe be a little bit more creative or crazy, and then often, yes, you are super committed and all-in-ish, but it can work. Against the Terran, it's harder to pull that kind of stuff off. But the ball's kind of in Heromarine's corner. If I'm Heromarine and I'm approaching this series, don't be that guy that makes 4 Hellions into 3cc into double eBay, because then most likely you'll end up losing. Bly will find a way to capitalize on that. He will all-in you one way or the other. If I'm Heromarine, I go for aggressive 2-base builds into a slow 3rd base and just get my economy going from there. Because we've seen Heromarine. If he gets 3 bases going, 60 plus SCVs, he's going to be very hard to defeat in this matchup. So in my opinion, for Heromarine, only one thing matters: get to that stage in the game.
Yeah, you agree there that Heromarine's strength is when the barracks lights are turned on, he's got these units pumping out?
Well, even more so than it's his strength. I think Bly has never made it past the 15th spell. I'm pushing a little bit far, but I don't think that Bly plays too many like super, long macro games.
Yeah.
I remember we casted a bunch of his games actually, like in the past, like even the Roddy show matches against Marine Lord, like.
Those were painful, man.
It was kind of sad. Like, he just got demolished. Everything that he tried wasn't working.
Well, let's hope that's not the same story that we see here between these two. Very quick then, because the game is now loading. Predictions from both of you, leaning towards Heromarine?
Heromarine 2-1.
2-1, okay.
Yeah.
Heromarine 3-0 in the best of 3.
Whoa, okay, Todd. All right, thank you very much for that bold prediction there. It's time to go to the commentary team for this one in the last match of Open Bracket 1.
Welcome back to the casting desk here. Going to be bringing you guys another awesome match. I am joined by Captain Kangaroo, Moonglade himself. How are you doing?
Finally, we got an Aussie cast. I'm so happy. It's finally happened.
Is this like the first time this has ever happened in any esport? Like two Aussie commentators?
Any international, the Aussies have done it. We've finally taken over, and we're going to have the best cast ever, mate.
Oh, yeah.
First, I'd like to comment about the panel, though. Like, they had some interesting things to say about Nathanius's girlfriend, the show match between Rotterdam and Todd's interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like we should step in at some point and actually show them how it's done.
Yeah, maybe talk about some StarCraft at some point.
It's always a good idea when we're at these tournaments to actually talk about the game.
Yeah, but if you lose your passion a little bit, you're playing some Heroes of the Storm, you're a host, you're not a commentator.
Mate, the list goes on.
Of course, we are going to be hopping into this next Gamescom IEM game. Spawning over here on the right-hand side, we do have Team Aces Bly.
And I like how instead of saying Gleck, have fun, he says #Bly on fire.
That's just Bly things, Some players take it as offense, but Bly's just caught up in being a competitor, caught up in being who he is. Of course, to win this spot in the groups, he needs to go through his opponent. It is Heromarine.
There he is. Fantastic player. He's done very well so far today. And I've been very, very much looking forward to his Terran versus Zerg. It really is the one matchup that really stood out to me. When I did get to see him in some other tournaments online, I was very impressed. And he also got his premier spot through a Zerg. So
he's really accomplished that. I think beating Rhett is actually something people might think, oh, Rhett's kind of been coming back. Of course, it was Heromarine who beat Rhett in Challenger for those who didn't catch that match. But Rhett's been getting really good at ZVT. He's like so confident in his macro ZVT. But I think Heromarine has shown he's strong in that macro stage, exactly as they were saying on the desk. If he can get to that 66 3-base SCV kind of point, he's going to be at such a good position. Bly, on the other hand, he's someone who, because he's so focused on the early game, he's not known for his late game mechanics.
And this is a game where you just can't rely on that early game aggression to get you anywhere in this matchup. It's entirely up to the Terran's build order. And it's actually, going back to that red thing real quickly, it brings me back to DreamHack when I actually got to cast him play against Fantasy, I believe it was. And he actually had some really great games in terms of macro. And that says a lot about what Heromarine can do as well.
Oh yeah, Heromarine's finally broken into WCS this season. Now here, looking to take that spot in the group stage. Going to be opening up here on Coda with a very typical Reaper opening, very standard timing of that. Such a good build on this map. Coda, the Reaper just gets across there so early, really limits the options of the Zerg player. Bly, interestingly enough, going for a hatchery first into a very typical kind of, I think that was a 15 pool, and then a fast gas afterwards.
Yeah, a little bit of a delay in the gas, like a couple of drones in the gas, so it's not the fastest link speed you can get, so he's starting off slow, not being too aggressive, doesn't want to get link speed out as quick as possible or anything like that.
Tell me, Glade, you get the pleasure of casting a lot of awesome games in the Korean scene, the very top level of skill in StarCraft too. If you were thinking, what are some of the really good aggressive build orders? If you were to pick one out, do you feel like Roach Bane is still something that's current in the meta?
It's certainly something we don't see as much anymore, but I definitely can appreciate it against the kind of Terran player that is going to go for that double CC early enough. We do see, you see someone do it against Bomber any day of the week, same against Innovation. These things can still happen, but certainly is a lot more rare these days. I feel like it's really kind of, the meta is kind of stabilized to a point where the Zergs are usually going for 2-base meter into like a delayed third and playing the normal sort of Ling Bane game from there. It's settled down a lot compared to what it used to be.
Interesting. That Reaper actually didn't get any kills there. Really good Ling micro from Bly, just pulling back the weak ones.
He's on fire, man. He's playing that game that we were all hoping we'd see. I'm really curious to see how he performs in the late game. I mean, after that ZVP, like it was all in. It was so aggressive. It was never about the macro. So, oh, nice around there.
Almost
so close.
kills that Reaper. Just one more hit from that Queen or a Zergling would have taken him down. Now, we were speaking a bit about 2-base Muta being popular, but also something else which has been hopping in, and something I think Bly would love to do, is fast Mutalisks while taking a fast 3rd base. And that's actually something you can still do very easily. However, still mining gas here. Bly actually coming out on the map with quite a few Zerglings, looking like he's going to try and contest for that map control, and we may see a very fast lair starting up for him in the next couple of seconds.
It's like he was looking for something there for a second, changing his mind. And yeah, you'd expect the lair, but he's kind of gathered up a lot of resources, and I think we might just see that Roach Bane style, funnily enough.
Very powerful style. I mean, there's no 3rd command center just yet, though. There is a fast starport coming out for Heromarine, coming in with this Reaper Scout. What's he going to see? He needs, if he spots that Roach Warren, this is so huge. Oh, he gets the vision. He sees it. He knows what's coming his way.
Yeah, he just throw a tech lab on that starport, go into Banshees, go into a bunker or two and get a full wall off. He should be pretty safe against it.
Oh, nice little pickup with those Zerglings getting 2 Marines, but then they are deflected, and this is the clever response from Bly. Cancels the Roach Warren, starts the lair up. He knows that there has to be a forced response from Heromarine. Heromarine is going to go into Banshee production to be very safe against this. This is like, if you're worried about dying, this is how you open up against a Zerg player. You open up with that Banshee into a delayed 3rd command center. That can stop just about anything that the Zerg can throw at you on hatchery tech.
Yeah, but the painful thing for Bly is that, you know, those 3 gases are so much later than they would want to be if you were going to go into 2-base Muta. So the map control is going to be a lot stronger from Heromarine. He's going to have a lot more chance to deny the creep and poke and delay that 3rd base. So really, it is a big, very unfortunate thing that it did get scattered out, that he was planning to go Roaches after all.
Oh, coming out off creep with a lot of Zerglings here. Bly going for the gambling move here. He needs to surround these Hellions. Some Zerglings coming in for the flank, but Heromarines control is too good so far. One Hellion gets surrounded, but all the Zerglings are roasted, and this is disastrous. Let's think about what Bly's sacrificed. He hasn't built any extra queens this game. He's got so little creep spread. He is relying on just Zerglings off creep to deal with these Hellions, and if he can't push them back, he just has no recourse. He's never going to get map control back.
There's no creep spread. There's literally no tumor out there to help out at all. He's got 2 queens to do so, and finally he puts one down, but it's going to be so much harder when this Banshee comes across the map. He might be even able to deny that 3rd base if he wants to focus it down. So much map control right now. Looks like he's going to go for more economic damage there. And he should have a fair idea that it is going to be Spire play from here, because obviously no roaches on the map.
Banshee heading in here, coming in, gonna start focusing that queen down straight away. No Overseer ready just yet, but there is an Overseer morphing. Bly's 3 queens are in position, 1 queen goes down. Heromarine starting to kill drones. He knows the lair's finished, there's gonna be an Overseer here. Pulls out, doesn't take any damage on that Banshee. A nice little pick up there.
It's a nice little scout as well. You know, he gets to see exactly what's going on from here. He should have his turrets up in time. From here, he can just proceed into that bio game, and that he's so good at, going into double upgrades. No 3rd just yet, though. He's nearly finished it up.
Heromarine doesn't want to take any chances here, just trying to get to that later stage of the game. He wants to show his mechanics off. He wants to show that he's better in the longer game. Bly, on the other hand, he looks like he's scrambling now, trying to find some recourse in this game. But look at this. No Spore at the 3rd, no drones even mining there. This is disastrous for Bly. Sure, he's getting some Mutalisks out, but he just doesn't have any economy behind
Look
it.
at this. I don't know if it's worth it to throw away this much minerals, but he's doing it. And, I wonder what the mineral count was from that many cancels. It'd probably be around 100, so I guess he gets it up in the end.
Hey, he occupied the Banshees for a few seconds, I guess. Someone on Team Liquid will have to do a mathematical analysis of how many cancels
I think it's
is actually worthwhile.
Probably was a bit of a waste there. 10 mutas are out now, so maybe Bly can find some damage. He's going to take back the map control and maybe find these Banshees. No Overseer, though, with it, so they can cloak, get to safety. The turret's going to be up in time.
These mutas really need to get some damage done, I think, to make this worthwhile. The upgrades are so delayed for Bly here. He really wants to get some damage done. Flies in there, does pick off an SCV or 2, delaying those barracks, but already his Mutalisks are very bruised. These Vikings are so good at hedging, and these mutas just need to run out of there. One of them already going down.
I love that word, hedging. It makes so much sense right now. And I do love the addition of 3 Vikings as well. It's going to zone out these guys for days. There's no real damage to be found here.
The Mutalisks being shoved back. Oh, turning around. Bly with a little bit of miscontrol there, engaging those Marines, losing yet another Mutalisk.
Yeah, a little bit of a mismicro there. Bly trying to get that 3rd base up and running as he did see that orbital down there, so he's got to catch up. It's going to be pretty even in terms of economy for now. Bly really has to get this third up and running and start a fourth base if he wants to, you know, try and stay in this game in terms of economy and try and maintain that lead, at least by a little bit.
Oh, his mutas here, seeing this big push coming across the map. Such an odd ramshackle force from Heromarine, but there's just so many units in it. Bly, on the other hand, he's just been struggling to drone up that third base. We can see he's down about 15 army supply here. He needs Banelings desperately to deal with this army. Those Banshees in the sky, those 3 Medivacs, those 3 Vikings, this is a lot of firepower.
Yeah, he's actually going for a real push here, and there's really not much from Bly at all. You know, he's going to have 8 Banelings for this, but if the splits are good from Heromarine, he should be able to take this apart.
Oh, Bly realizes he needs more time. He needs more units out. Baneling speed has just started. He's pulling back. He's waiting for more Zerglings to pop out. But he's supply blocked. These Vikings are killing so many Overlords. Bly has to go now. He doesn't have any units producing. He's got to go in.
He's going for it. There's slow Banelings, though. What can he actually do? Oh, it's a close fight. It's not a good trade at all for Bly.
Oh, Bly getting pushed back. The Terran army, this is only a fraction of it. There's so many reinforcements at home. Heromarine is pushing in here, pushing in so decisively, and Bly just does not have the numbers. Mutalisks are great for counterattacking. They're great for flanking from behind, but they cannot fight front on against these Marines.
No, especially now the Marines are in the drone line. So many drones are going down. He might be able to finally clean this up, but when the backbone of your army's been wiped out, the muta count's been lowered by a lot, he might not even be able to kill it. I mean, these are 1-1 Marines against the unupgraded units of Bly. Aside from that +1 meters.
Oh, that medevac healing. These Marines are pretty much immortals compared to this Zerg army. They do not care. More Widow Mines coming in, more Marines. The parade has begun, and the parade will not be finishing.
Certainly not. Mutas might be able to clean up the remaining medivacs, but more units are just coming across the map. And look at that supply lead. It's just, the pressure is mounting right now. And Bly hasn't started his 2-2 yet. 2-2 well on the way for Marine. So not looking good.
Heromarine looking to be in such a commanding position here, and oh, he's gotten to the second factory with the tech lab. He's got drilling claws on the way. He's adding his 6th, 7th, and 8th barracks down to get some extra added Marauder production in there. This is that point of the game where Terran's getting so comfortable, and he's still got these Widow Mines here.
Only getting 4 Lings though, so not the biggest win. But yeah, Marine, Heromarine is so far ahead at this point. The creep spread is non-existent essentially still from Bly. You know, he just hasn't found any sort of space whatsoever. And this army composition, this units from Heromarine might just be enough to wipe him out. Not many Banelings with this army.
Desperation Burrow's on the way, but there's no time to get it out. You know, when behind, get Burrow. That's what you try as the Zerg and ZVT. The Banelings coming in, actually getting some really nice hits there, but does he have the numbers to clean this up? Looks like he routes the front half of the army, but the reinforcements come in, and there's just nothing left on the ground for Bly.
Yeah, once again, the army's been fought back. Doesn't look like Heromarine going to commit too much further there. You know, he dealt with all the creep. He can kind of regain his army, maybe wait for more AoE before he pushes forwards again.
Oh, this is such a hard position for Bly. Slowly spreading that creep back out from his natural at the 16-minute mark. You know you're up against the wall when you're trying to get creep outside your third base and natural this late in the game. Yeah. Without that creep spread, he's just going to be taking more and more cost-inefficient fights. And Heromarine is just being so patient here. He knows the moment that 2-2 finishes, that is his time to finish this game. There will be no way for Bly to stand up against those 2-2 units, and it's kicked in.
Here we go. Oh, not actually committing to that mine hit. Kind of a surprise. That would have been the game-winning hit, I'd have to say, but still, huge advantage for Heromarine here. All he has to do is split perfectly, and he should be able to cost-efficiently take this army apart.
Oh, those Marines pushing forward. Oh, very nice Zerglin counterattack for Bly there. Picking off some Marines very efficiently, but Bly has so little to work with. Every unit needs to kill 5, 6 Marines here, and they're just not able to do it.
Oh, there's 3 active mines waiting for those mutas to get close enough as well. 3 more coming down. Things are getting a little hairy here. He's finally ran out of Ling and Bane, so his mutas are going to have to defend behind the spines. Bad place to be, and no 4th in sight, which is really something you want as a Zerg player at this point.
About six minutes ago is the standard time to have that 4th up established in mining, but
yeah.
Bly's just being as dogged as he can, trying to hang on here. You know, he didn't have a good start to this game. Things were scouted very early on. He's tried to do what he can to come back into it, but Heromarine's just been so solid here, and he just hasn't given him the opportunity.
Oh yeah, Heromarine so on point with these burrows as well with his Widow Mines. Like, he's waiting for the perfect hits, and that's so many of them now. All with drilling claws, 9. And I get dropped.
Oh, Todd has left the game. He's going to cast some Heroes of the Storm, but meanwhile, we have Heromarine pushing in here, and he wants to take this game. He wants to close it out. He has a huge upgrade lead, a huge unit lead, and he wants to shove Bly out of this game. Heromarine wants that spot in the group stage here of IEM. The Widowmine's going for the aggressive burrow on top of the Banelings. Maybe not the best move, but it looked cool.
It looked cool. Still a couple more main as well. Looking for the hits this time. Oh, not the best hits. Still more than enough to clean this up.
There is just no Zerg left. Zerg is on 2 base. Bly is struggling here. He's using every unit perfectly, showing good patience and stability mentally here. But it's a mathematical game at this point. You simply cannot win a war when you have 1/10 of the forces of your opponent. And that's what we're looking at right now.
Oh, another one. Still not the hits he desired. And now Tony Mutas once again. And the natural is wide open for the taking.
Oh, the Banelings try to get on top of those Marines, but they are gunned down instantly. Bly is forced out of that game.
GG. Really solid game from Heromarine, and it's kind of what we expected. He played it out perfectly. He got that scout off, which was really the most important thing of that game. It changed everything, and Bly was playing catch-up from then onwards.
The delayed swap to Mutalisks there.
Yeah, and you know, no fourth inside.
Yeah, it was such a hard road to recovery there, I think, for Bly, because it wasn't even the delayed lair so much. Actually, when we think about it, it was the delayed creep. He just didn't build a 3rd queen at the start of the game.
Creep is so important when you're trying to shut down these parade pushes. Like, it's one of the most basic things you need. It's like part of a formula of things that you have to have if you want to stop Terrans from doing what Heromarine did.
Exactly, and even the early Hellion pressure, you can remember, like, well, I don't have queens to deflect the Hellions, so I've got to build Zerglings. They're trying to run off creep, and the Hellions are like, huh, Zerglings off creep, like, yum, yum, yum.
Yeah, and
like,
they all got wiped out. All the Hellions remain. Like, he was in such a comfortable position to deny creep and work on the 3rd base and just have everything in position where it needed to be to just have all these cost-efficient fights.
A beautiful, beautiful game there. Stay with us, guys. We are going to be hopping into Game 2 just after a very quick break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters here. We are live from Cologne, Germany. It is getting towards the end of the first open bracket stage. We have, of course, just seen Heromarine take a very convincing game 1 against Bly. But we can't forget, Bly, his first game against Mana looked pretty similar, and he came back in decisive fashion.
Yeah, Bly was actually opting for some aggression in that first game too, which was a little bit of a surprise. I thought he might try and turn it back, go for some macro, but it got scouted out early enough, and from then on, Heromarine just had such an easy time kind of dealing with everything from there, because you're playing catch-up like that, you're going into 2-base muter off 1 gas, it's never going to work out well.
Yeah, you got that delayed tech there, no creep spread, and really it's such a gamble going out there with those Zerglings. You know, you're like, hey, if I get these Hellions, I'm in a great spot, it's fine, and he didn't get them, and he's kind of like, where do you go from here?
Where do you go, man? Like, no creep spread, not enough queens, all the tools are just not helpful. Well, we'll be getting into that in just a moment's time.
Yep, we are going to be doing that very, very soon.
So basically, it's really going to come down to what Bly can do. Is he actually going to play a macro game from here? Is he going to actually try for another all-in? It's kind of curious because Heromarine seems so strong in just the normal macro game. Like he goes toe-to-toe with like Koreans as well. Like it's such a hard thing to kind of look at and see what Bly can do. It's either he catches him out with some sort of all-in, or he's going to play a macro game that we just haven't seen yet.
Yeah, it's going to be something that he does have to throw out there. Of course, we're just trying to get Glade in the lobby after Todd's account did disconnect. So we are just in the ESL chat channel. We are going to be hopping into that next game in just a moment with our preview PC. No worries.
Yeah,
so
be fine.
Bly has got a long road ahead of him to come back. He was talking in his interview before about how Zerg vs Terran, he finds it trickier because there aren't as many curveballs Zerg can throw at the Terran without going completely all in.
Yeah.
He said, you know, if I go for it, it's like complete gamble.
That's it.
And we kind of saw he kind of half went for it, and already he was so far behind when he tried to transition out.
That's pretty much all it takes as well. You know, it is such a tricky matchup, so thought out already that you can't really find that much of a all-in to do that's not going to shut you down.
And of course, to get through it, he has to get through our Terran opponent up here in the top right-hand side. It is Heromarine.
One game away from making it out of the open bracket.
Looking very calm and confident there. At this point, even though he's only 18 years old, Heromarine is pretty much a veteran of this scene. And he is going to have to be strong, though, here to get that spot. He's going to have to defeat Team Ace's Bly.
No fire in game number 1. Maybe this time around can show us some of that spark.
Oh, I'm sure it'll come on Twitter once the game's over if he does take it out. Bly, always confident, always goes in. He kind of always cheers for himself. Some players say, oh, you know, it's a little bit cocky. Like, I can't believe he just blatantly cheers for himself and he just says these things. But he's just like, what, man? I want to win the game. Like, you know,
man, if no one else will, might as well. You know, that's a good way to look at it.
It's always been my motto when I play. You know, I record myself clapping a little bit in the background, give myself a bit of a boost. Of course, Bly here going for that hatchery first here. Now, this is Moonlight Madness. This is a crazy map. We haven't seen too many pro games on this because it does get vetoed so much.
It's a dirty map, Pig. It's a very, very dirty map. We'll see if Heromarine wants to take advantage of it as well. You know, go for that tank drop that we see so often on this map. Try and work on the extractor as Funkus shows us. Thanks a lot, mate.
Oh, yeah.
And
you know, you can kind of siege that whole ramp, almost get into the main base, like covering it with the drop.
Oh yeah, man! You drop some Marines down there, you can constantly harass that drone line.
Another funny feature is you can actually reach the destructible debris tower from across the gap. So if the Zerg doesn't block that entrance off or clear it out, so to say, very early on, Terran player can actually knock it down, separate the Zerg bases from their third base, and suddenly, if you're kind of dropping on the high ground, dropping on the low ground, it becomes a nightmare for Zerg. So it can be very, very tricky for Bly if it goes to that stage without him kind of getting tempo going his way.
Yeah, it's also on the other side of things though, for Bly, it's a fantastic map for muta harassment because it is so hard to defend all bases because they are so, you know, compartmentalized, I guess. Like they're all different sort of sections that are so hard to get to with ground units. So if he gets to that stage where he does have a healthy amount of mutalisks and he can harass comfortably, like it'll add up pretty quickly.
Zerglings coming out now. They are going to deflect this Reaper. Interestingly enough, Heromarine actually going for a second Reaper already this game. Looks like it is going to be a 2 Reaper into the factory opening. So he's going to put on a lot of pressure here. It's going to allow him to dictate the pace and really force Bly on the back foot defensively. Interestingly, Bly already sneaking out those 4 Zerglings, and I can imagine where they're going. They're going to start working on those back rocks of Heromarine very early on.
Oh, man. So he's going to stay with the aggression here, which is interesting. What do you think of 2 Reapers versus 3, by the way? I'm a big 3 Reaper kind of guy.
I think both are very, very powerful. You do get your Hellions out a little bit faster with the 2 Reaper, so I'm actually quite a big fan of both of them. This one, you don't get that early aggression quite as hard, but look at this, still getting a lot of damage done on that Queen.
Yeah, that's actually too much damage. I mean, imagine if there was 3 Reapers, you could eventually target down that Queen and things would get a lot easier, but here comes a big problem with also not having a 3rd Reaper back at home, waiting for this kind of counterattack.
Oh, the command center, it's so close to finishing with the Zerglings. Stop it, and that is so hard. And look at this, this reactor's finished, the factory is finished, but you can't swap those over. You got to build Marines now. This just delays the follow-up pressure. A 3rd SCV goes down. Bly is on fire right now.
Not to mention the supply block from delaying that CC for so long, and another SCV going down. This is actually adding up to too much. That was 4 Zerglings doing that kind of damage. Ridiculous.
That's such a big move. Terran is very fragile build-up in the way they like to add their production, so that does a very good amount of damage there. Going into that fast lair behind this, as well as some extra Zerglings, looking like Bly wants to go down that 2-base muta route, following the popular style right now, get some tempo on the map, get those mutas, and abuse what you said, the positioning.
It's such a good place, man.
So much dead space at the back, it's just beautiful.
Oh yeah, you can have a field day with this kind of, if you get the muta count up and running, nice around here. The Ling's going to take back map control for now. He's going to get that Hellion count up pretty healthy, at least 4 before he can feel super safe. But you know, 2 + 2 Reaper is going to be pretty handy against this many Lings.
No, getting us around on another Hellion, but it does slip out of there. Bly getting a little bit over aggressive here. Does grab a Reaper kill, but he's going to lose quite a lot of Zerglings for that. Oh, maybe getting a little bit over the top there. And interestingly enough, Bly, he's got the fast lair, but he's actually adding a Roach Warren with this.
Oh.
This might even be a Roach speed build.
Huh. I guess that could still be pretty effective against what we see from Heromarine right now. There is Banshees on the way, which is always a bad thing if you plan to go any sort of Roach style. But maybe he can bulldoze his way through, look for the economic damage and transition from there. I'd love to see something like that, you know, 2-base Roach into Muta switch with a later 3rd. I can see the magic.
So those are actually 2 colored Tastelopes up there. Maybe they're a lady and a male one. They're gonna.
You think so?
I don't know how they got up on that cliff.
That's an Artsalope.
Oh, that's an Artosalope, right?
Artosalope,
Of course. Ah.
Yeah, there they are in their native habitat, top of a rock.
Oh, Spore Crawler on the way here. Some Roaches with Roach speed on the way. Looks like Bly wants to go for this Roach play, but with these Banshees on the way, with the Hellions out here, they're going to spot it very early. It's going to be very hard for those Roaches to do any aggressive damage. They'll be great defensively, but where do you go from there? These Roaches aren't a long-term plan. There's no evolution chambers down. Is there going to be a Muto follow-up? If
I think so.
We really need to see that Spire go down very soon.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, he's going to look for the damage once speed is finished, and from there, hopefully he will transition. Hopefully he doesn't go full blind and just go into mass Roaches non-stop. I feel like that could be a mistake. That might be a grave mistake there, but you know what? There is still really isn't much of an army for Heromarine outside of this Banshee and Hellions that can defend effectively. 3 Marines at a time at this point. Now a tank very smartly.
Oh, the safety tank, you know, seeing that this third base is so late, Heromarine doesn't want to take any chances. He's already going up to the 5 barracks very quickly, but he doesn't really have all the add-ons ready just yet, only producing a few Marines at a time, as you said. And this Roach pressure from Bly, it's really aimed to take advantage of a greedy 3-base Terran.
He's found it. Speed is done, though, so he is comfortable at showing what's up. And he's going to be barreling towards a natural. There's not much here, only a bunker so far. And a number of Marines, and Marines aren't that good against Roaches.
Oh, the tank is out. Will it siege up in time? It can't be too close to the front lines. He's not sieging the tank.
Oh, he wasn't paying attention. He's going to start trading with SEV, so he's going to look for the economic damage here, but with that tank set up, I don't think he's going to find much more.
Oh, does get 9 SEV kills. A nice little pickup there. It does give the drone lead back to Bly, but Bly needs to get a little bit more done than that. He needs to take these back rocks down and delay the third base for a long time. Because we've seen Heromarine go towards the siege tanks, it's the more static defensive option. It's not as much as mobile. So this does delay Heromarine's ability to really get back out on the map. So maybe Bly can start getting a lot of damage done with this and then transition back into that Muta Zergling play. However, interestingly, we've got Burrow who's just finished up. We've got Tunneling Claws on the way.
I like it, to be honest. And I do like the choice of Roaches simply because of that backdoor debris as well. Like, Roaches are going to have such an easy time working them down, so we can, you know, open up multiple avenues of harassment. Something you'd probably see more often against Protoss, but I do like it against Terran, when the Terran is still, like, trying to get their army up and running.
And actually going into those ranged upgrades, so it looks like this is the long-term plan. Mass Roaches for now, maybe into Roach Hydra later. And guess what? Heromarine is stuck on 2 bases right now. Bly is mining from that third base quite healthily. So Bly already is forcing himself into a small economic advantage, but Heromarine's saying, you know what? Yeah, I'm turtled up on 2 bases, but I'm going to start counter-dropping. You've gone for immobile units. I'm going to start putting that pressure back on you. But goes right through that watchtower vision, and Bly's already on top of it.
Even so, though, Pig, like, there's nothing to stop them from flying wherever they want to except for Queen. So this is the power of when you know it's a Roach tech and nothing extra, you just dominate the map with Medivacs. You bully everything out of position. And Bly is not in position for this drop. It's actually going to do a lot of damage.
Those Roaches had to run all the way back around. And look at this weakened hatchery from the Banshee before. Those Marines might be able to focus it down. Oh, they do go for the Queens instead, taking out the anti-air.
Oh, he's committing.
Oh,
big mistake here. Way too many Roaches.
That's such a huge loss. They're only getting 2 Queens for all those Marines. Interestingly, that drops him down to only 1 Queen. Bly sticking true to his habits and just saying, I don't like building a lot of Queens. I like to attack Terran. Why
Doesn't
do I
like creep, mate.
Yeah, I only need a couple creep tumors. They'll last me all game long. Already going into Hydras and the Infestation Pit. Looks like he wants to add on maybe the Hive Blinding Clouds, maybe the Pathogen Glands.
Look at this, though. It's starting to work here. Turret finds him out, but that's not much bio. He can just burrow up the back, force out a scan at the very least.
These Roaches can just keep splitting up. He's already split 1 Roach away from them. So already we see 1 scan comes out. Sure, you killed 1 Roach. Are you going to get the other 2, though? Probably not. And look at this. Oh, Roach counterattack coming in, trying to delay Heromarine's push, waiting for those Hydralisks to get out. If Bly can get the Hydras out, he can take this army out in the open.
Yeah, once he's got those Hydras, though, you know, he's got to get the upgrades, got to get the Hydra and range. And from there, it's going to be very easy to trade with nothing but Marines. He really needs to start adding Medivacs, Marauders, and really go for that later game composition. Best way to deal with this kind of composition, especially if there's no Vipers, just, you know, 3-3 bio with like very heavy Marauder count and Medivac count. You just kind of dominate every sort of fight.
There's just too much supply efficiency once you get to that point. But at these supplies, the Roach Hydra is quite decent. Oh, beautiful scan. He sees them coming in there, sees that dirt trail from those burrowed Roaches. There is a small visible sign of that. Oh, Hydra's on one side, Roaches on the back. This still could be a tasty sandwich.
Could be a tasty sandwich, but Hydra's never really want to be the ones taking the hits here, and that could do very well for Heromarine if he tries to jump on top of them. Still, he needs these tanks set up. He needs to scan again as well.
Shark attack! He's going to come in right on top of those siege tanks. The hatchery does go down, but the tanks are obliterated very quickly. The Hydras and Roaches coming in from both sides. This is looking to be an okay fight for Bly. He's cleaning up the Terran army very efficiently. Oh, does push Heromarine back for now, but he has taken a lot of economic advantage. He needs to really crush this Terran army.
Wow, he's coming into it. Look at the meat grinder. Only Hydras left over? Never going to happen against this many stimmed Marines.
Oh no, losing so many units there. His Queen's going down. Oh, only on 2 base production here. Heromarine, even though he's down in supply, his units are just so supply efficient. Look at the healing on all of these Marines. This is absolutely brutal.
Way too much. And this is exactly how you deal with this Roach Hydra composition. You get very healthy medivac counts with your upgraded bio, and there's nothing you can do. Look at this. It's completely dominated despite being pretty equal in supply in terms of army.
Heromarine just showing he is stronger player here and looking like he is going to be taking that spot into the open brackets there, of course, right out of the open.
Exactly what you said, Pig. You got it the first time, mate. He's getting out of the open bracket. He's getting into the real stuff, into the group stage. And it's where he belongs. I mean, with this kind of play, it's a beautiful thing.
Oh, really, really nice damage there. Picking up, getting out of there, preserving those medevacs for a later day. They're going to regenerate that energy. These 2 Roaches have just been having a party in the main base, but 2 Roaches, yeah, you pick away an SCV here or there. Heromarine didn't really care too much. He can just rebuild his bio now. He's got so much more mining than
He
Bly.
can just take his time, man, because it's 2 base versus 2 base, and Terran is always going to be in favor in those kind of sense, in that economy. And 2-2 are on the way, but a little too late, in my opinion. I think if you are planning to go for Roach Hydra, you have to really be on top of your upgrades. It makes such a difference, especially with the Roaches early on.
This Marine ball is just so frightening. He's just got that critical mass. Even without the Marauders, they just have so much damage output, they don't really care. There's not enough Roaches with that higher armor count in front. And this Terran army looks very, very frightening.
Yeah, it must be one of the most fun sort of compositions to use. It's like pure bio, you just stim move into everything and just mash all these Hydras up. Still, you know, that's a pretty healthy number of Roach Hydra right now. He's going to wait for his reinforcements before he really wants to commit. I like this tank position as well. It's a good map for it.
Use that high ground, covering that ledge. Heromarine does, with the 8 of those siege tanks, have the superior ranged army. So terrain like this, just being very careful not to get surrounded, is really the key to this.
Yeah, trying one last time for a burrow move, but everything is surrounding it. He gets the tank, I guess, but the Roaches are going to be out of position and they're going to take a lot of damage.
Oh, another scan goes
man.
down. These Roaches are just getting obliterated. Sure, the siege tanks are down, but he has lost so many units in return for that.
Yeah, that actually might be just way too much. That might be the nail in the coffin. He's going to have to give up the 3rd base again, and from there, I mean, it's a very comfortable place Heromarine is in. He can take his time once again to solidify this win.
Heromarine looking towards taking that spot in the group stage. He's been just so confident in this series, not letting Bly get the better of him with any of these tricky moves. Bly trying a really interesting way to abuse the map, but Heromarine just had enough units to hang on, got on top of these counterattack Roaches, never really let them get out of control.
Yeah, he was very on top of it. Really on point. Very smart play. It feels like he knows exactly this kind of style and he's used to dealing with it. So a lot of experience shown from Heromarine. Now it's just mainly Roaches against this many buyers, just never going to happen.
Oh, the medevac coming in on the north side gets shut down very quickly, but he just forces his way up this ramp. Heromarine knows he's got this such a lead. He goes, yeah, you're on Roach Hydra, man. Look at this. He can even use the hatcheries to choke up the Zerg army as it tries to move in here, and he's going to have such a big spread, such a big concave of Marines. They're just going to line up beautifully.
Well, he's going to try. Here we go. Going for that one last burrow. A lot of Hydras behind this too, but look how many Marines there are.
Oh, the Marine count is staggering. The medevacs are very low on energy right now. They're all kind of flying into their death, and the Marines are actually getting surrounded a little bit here. Bly is taking a really good fight, actually. As Bly just turned this around.
He turned this
is
around.
That enough?
Well, he cleans up this army, but there's a pretty big army sitting in the natural as well, so I'm not sure how confident he should be right now. He's like, yeah, you know, I saved my main, right? I saved my main. It took some economic damage. I'm going to take a 3rd base and see what I can do, but I really think he's going to bet on a counterattack from here as we see the units barrel across the map.
Oh, these medevacs being pursued. They should get out of there quite easily. It is time now for Heromarine to try and move his main orbital over to that 3rd base.
3 tanks is all you need for this army, in my opinion. It's going to be such a hard fight for Bly to get anything done here. He's either going to be fighting into a concave below a ramp, or he's going to be fighting into 3-4 tanks.
You know, you can see that Bly needs to get damage done here, and I think Heromarine senses this. I think he realizes that he overextended a little bit and he needs to shut this down, because there's always the potential with these burrow move roaches, if things get a bit chaotic, they can just blast out of control, knock all the SCVs down very quickly. So Heromarine needs to slow it down right now.
Yeah, he really does, because when you're fighting this composition, it's really on the Zerg to do the damage. It's not on the Terran to try and finish the game early. The later this game gets, the more inferior roaches will become. Big hits there, cleans it up. Ouch.
Goodbye, roaches. Those siege tank shots are just so powerful against it. Bly.
Hive with 36 drones, man. Only Bly. I love it.
He is the techiest Zerg of them all. He loves to tech up off low economy. And I mean, realistically, looking at this situation, Heromarines' army is a little bit ramshackle. It's so reliant on the siege tanks for damage that this does actually make sense.
Yeah, well, one more roach sneaking into the new third base mineral line.
It can actually get a lot of friendly fire damage done on the SCVs just by running through that mineral line, letting
if he
the
keeps
siege tanks
like
shoot
healing it and unburrowing it and healing it again, maybe you can find something.
Trying to rely on the Terran siege tanks to get friendly fire done. A little bit of a desperate situation for Bly.
Never the place you want to be in, that's for sure.
Oh, these two roaches and this queen, they're going to struggle against this full stim dropship. They do take down 2 marines very quickly, and a third. Oh, very nice reactive burrow there from Bly. And oh, actually getting some infestors out. Nice fungal growth there is going to clean up this drop.
Yeah. 2 marines marine, that's all you need. That's all you need, 2 marines in a medivac. Look at the upgrade. Something that's actually a big note here is 1-1 for the Terran still, which is something that it's actually really been taking effect in these fights. That's why the roaches are taking so long to kill. And it's actually a big part of how Terran deals with this kind of composition. You want to get to 3-3 bio pretty quickly as well, and it makes things so much more simpler, especially because you can drop so much against a ground army like this.
So even though Heromarine does have that economic advantage, he's got the army supply advantage, he is behind in upgrades, but he's also very far behind in other tech, in that, yes, he's got siege tanks, marines, and medevacs, but we're going up against infestors and vipers. Infestors being somewhat of a hard counter to marines, and the blinding cloud from the vipers definitely being fantastic against the siege tanks.
They can change everything in a heartbeat. So many of them coming out as well. And look at the army, it's kind of split up. It's a very awkward sort of situation because of how the map is shaped around your third and natural. It's like it should be a good fight for Heromarine, unless he gets fungled up here.
Bly doesn't really have the numbers to headbutt here. I think this, beautiful fungal growth, but he has to pull back there. There's just a bit too much Terran. Doesn't capitalize on that. All those marines are going to heal up from those medevacs.
Still, I guess it's going to take a toll on the medivac's energy at the very least. But, by the way, look at this creep spread of Bly. It's not too bad considering it's like 2 or 3 active tumors this whole game long. They've been allowed to go this far because it's been such an aggressive game.
That's the strength of Bly's playstyle. He gets to do a lot with a little because he's always got that aggressive advantage going for him. It does allow him to push forward here, and we can see even though he's still at a very low economy, only just now establishing a 4th base, Bly is going for Spire, and undoubtedly going for a greater Spire after that to add Broodlords in. He's looking at getting that perfect maxed out army because he knows he can't force his way in against Terran, but with good blinding clouds, good fungals, he can defend forever.
Here we go again. Triple drop this time, trying to do some work here, but not really finding much. Now these Vipers going to be able to abduct. Oh, the fungals miss, and they get out just in time.
Oh, can he abduct these medevacs though? He might actually intercept them when the boost runs out. These Vipers are right there, and he's going to get it. Double abduct right into the Hydras. Very nice pickup for Bly.
Wow, Bly has really turned this game around. That overcommittal from Heromarine opened such a big window. It's actually kind of ridiculous how Bly has done this on such a low economy as well.
Oh, nice abduct there. Doesn't have 1 siege tank. But we've got to remember, the roles are a little bit reversed here. Bly's army is a little bit more elite. He has the spellcasters, he has the higher tech,
look at this.
He doesn't have the numbers.
He doesn't have the numbers. But fighting into a choke like this, getting fungals all over your bio, he's going to try and plow through regardless. And a lot of roaches and hydras at the back not fighting.
Oh, this roach hydra, he's spread it out on purpose so it doesn't all get running into the, run into the siege tank splash, but he does actually manage to hold on against Heromarines' army for now. But, losing so many of his tech units. All his infestors are dead. His Vipers flying into their death. Those Vipers need to stay alive. They're just going on a YOLO mission into the middle of the map, and that is not going to work out very well for Bly.
No, that's the last thing Bly needed. It looks like they're, took a little detour just to check stuff out. And that's going to slow down his, consume. He needs energy on these things ASAP so he can actually start blinding clouding again. This Roach is doing a lot of work here, but here we go again.
Roach Hydra coming in, but it's in such small numbers here. Bly is in such a desperate situation. He's going to need to pull the drones here. Oh, he's going to just abandon that base, but he's got no mining left. He's got like 1 mineral patch left on his natural. Bly, he knows he needs to do something with these roaches because he can't fight that army head on.
He's got literally nothing left. Does he even have enough? He looks like he could afford some Broodlords if he wanted to make him, but he's going to choose some Infestors instead. And Heromarine just wants to kill him. He doesn't even care that he's ahead of base now. He's like, well, I can just try and kill you instead.
Trying to push in there, trying to force those fights where he wants them. He doesn't want to deal with these Burrow Roaches. Each time Heromarine spreads out, more Burrow Roaches have more opportunities to attack. He sees how small Bly's army is, but he has to make sure he doesn't make the same mistake that he did before.
Yeah, and here we go. A big fungal on the bio this time. Once again, if he goes for a Blinding Cloud, it could be enough to defend. He's choosing to abduct the tank instead, though, and more bio coming from behind.
Bly does not want to get knocked out here. He doesn't want to go to that fifth place, that third place match for the special spot. He really wants to just hold on here, but he's just got so few units to work with. No matter how well he uses his spellcasters, he keeps losing Infestors every fight, keeps losing Vipers. And without those units that are going to be cost efficient for him and no mining, he's just looking like he's going to be slowly sinking behind here.
Man, this has been a slugfest. What a crazy game. I think a lot had to do with the fact that Heromarine never upgraded his units again. That takes such a big toll, and it really does extend the game. Getting a couple of empty medivacs, it's going to do something.
Missing the one with the 2 siege tanks in it. That was the real money target that he wanted to hit there. Of course, when you got 6 Hydralisk, an Infestor, and 2 Vipers, your army's looking a little bit shabby here. And oh, the drones are about to rally through the Terran army. Bly needs to do something here. The lone infested Terran is not going to save them.
It's getting ugly. And, well, half the supply at this point, down a base, no economy left over. The army is inferior by a long shot. Bly's going to stick in it though, man. He's got that passion, that burning, fiery passion. Can he change it? Can the things change with one big fungal?
This is the point in the game where you wish you had the like Rome Total War unit where you just light your like pigs on fire, your drones, and just like run them into their army. But unfortunately, drones can't turn into banelings. There's like no real way to use them to buff it here. As they come in, they just disappear. The Marines have too much damage. This is beautiful, beautiful play from Heromarine. Finally coming in patiently to the end, and he does force him out. GG.
Really great play. Really exciting second game. That map. It really does produce some interesting some matches, that's for sure.
It really does. Heromarine looking a little bit happy there, not overly excited. He's like, yeah, the tournament really starts with the group stage. Just a bit of a smile on his face, shaking Bly's hand. Bly, of course, he's still got that shot in that 5th place match to get through there.
Yeah, he can't give up now. You know, he's always got that extra shot. Thanks, Rain, for bailing out when you did. Opens up that extra spot for everyone. So it makes the open brackets just a little bit more exciting as well.
It really does. Big, big win there. Going through to the group stage of IEM is always something that can make you really happy as a player. I personally would love to be going through to that stage, and if you make it to the top 4, then you will actually be playing down in front of a huge audience in Gamescom. So that's really what these guys, that's the real goal in there.
That's the dream, man. Getting on that stage at Gamescom, it's huge.
Oh, yeah. So it's going to be a really, really nice match. What did you think of Bly's kind of mindset there in that second game? Do you think he's going to be a bit shaken up after that match, or do you think he's still feeling confident?
It's hard to say. I mean, he was very aggressive once again in a ZVT like that, and it is very hard to be that kind of aggressive. It's certainly it's a bit of a shame he didn't try to go for the more traditional sort of Mutiling Bane like from a decent start, because obviously he tried that in game 1, but he was going to go Roaches in that game too.
Yeah.
So I mean, he shouldn't be too shaken up. He should just reset his mind. Like, he's been doing very well against Protoss. Hopefully he gets another Protoss player. There isn't too many Terrans in the bracket.
And ZVP, I think right now, if you watch the Korean leagues, right, like crazy Speedling all-ins and like proxy hatches, these seem to actually be like the best builds that the best players are doing.
Yeah, whatever you can do to try and win a game against Protoss, man.
All right, guys, so we are going to hop over. We're going to hear some words from Heromarine about his thoughts on those games. Take it away, Sean.
Thank you very much, guys, and welcome to the winners interview here with Heromarine. Congratulations on the 2nd place finish here in Open Bracket 1. You've made it to the group stages, and now this is the real time I can ask this question. It must be a good feeling now that you finally said, okay, I'm done for the day. I get to play in group stages. Did it play out the way you expected it, this Open Bracket? There was good players in here. It wasn't certain that you were going to go through. How did you think it played out today?
I think everything went quite okay. Like, I didn't expect to beat Patience, even though I'm capable of that. However, Patience is very good. Like his TVP is on point, his execution was perfect. Therefore, I lost the series against him. I'm a bit upset with how I played against Patience though, because I think I could have handled that much better. And yeah, overall though, I feel like it's quite okay. I beat the 2 other players that were meant to be the favorite coming into the open bracket, Mana and Bly, and yeah, I think that's quite good for me.
Go on, Roddy, go on.
Real competitive spirit over here. He just advanced to the group stage instead of being really happy about that. He's actually still beating himself up a little bit over that series
you have to do that.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a great.
Otherwise, you don't improve. Man.
No, it's a great mentality. But there are a lot of people who like completely forget about it. Like, that happened, but group stage. But he's still thinking about it.
I can do it if I am out of group stage or bracket. Then I can be happy about my performance because at least I made group stage. But now I'm still in a tournament, so I obviously try to improve my play.
What happens if you played against Mana instead of Bly? Would that have changed the picture for you a lot?
Yeah, a lot, I think, because I've played a lot of TVP today, so that might be...
A little bit exposed?
Yeah, I might be a bit exposed in that regard.
And some history with Mana, of course, as well.
Also, yeah.
I had a question about game number 2, because I felt game number 1 was pretty straightforward. And I don't think you were able to hear our pre-game thoughts, but we were kind of going into this series, and I said, if I'm Heromarine, I look at this, and I would like to see him go just for strong 2-base aggression, and then slowly but steady go up to 3 bases, just take it from there, try to make it into the phase in the game. And I felt game number 1 was exactly like that. I felt everything went well for you, scouted the Roach Warren. I don't think we have to talk about it too much. Game number 2, however, it looked good early on. You had a pretty solid read on the build. But on a certain point, I felt that the game was almost slipping away from you. Did you ever have that feeling, or you always felt okay?
I didn't know anything in that game. Like, after my 2-base all-in killed his 3rd, and then I got pushed back, I didn't realize anything. In the beginning, though, I feel like I made a lot of scrappy mistakes in terms of the build order. He slowed me down quite significantly with his 4 Zerglings in the beginning. That was quite bad, and if you do mistakes like that, the mistakes are gonna be a bit scrappy, and the game was scrappy. I think we both were able to win that game. I was able to win that game because he didn't have enough money to afford more Roach Hydra.
I also think there was one fight, we were watching from the audience over here, and there was this one fight, it's kind of hard to explain on Moonlight Madness, but let's say where you go into his 3rd base normally, and where he had his 4th, he had that big fight with Vipers and Fungal, but he was only fighting with half his army. Did you realize that as well? There were so many Roaches not participating in the battle. He needed a little bit of F2A micro over there. I think that would have helped him a lot.
I had the feeling that wasn't his whole army. I didn't really care about the Blinding Clouds and Fungal since I had 12 Medivacs, so I didn't need to go for upgrades. I needed to get more tanks out in order to get some DPS. I didn't expect him to have Vipers, but that concave, I was like, oh, am I winning? And then I realized that he has a lot more stuff. So at that moment, I was again at a point where I thought, oh, this game is probably over. But then again, like I said, it's a scrappy game, so I didn't realize what was going on in that game.
It was, like you said, I think you described it very well, a scrappy game on both sides, but very enjoyable to watch, and that matters too. Last but not least, just a quick question to wrap up this interview, and you can relax and celebrate your position in the group stage. How different is it when you go into a series, when you play against Bly, compared to, let's say, your best of 5 in Challenger going up against Red? Do you approach the series very differently mentally?
Yeah, a lot. Personally, I like to prepare the way, or let's say I prepare on certain maps, so I have a certain plan. For the best of 5 against Red, for example, I already knew which build order I'm going to use on which map. However, in a tournament like this, in an open bracket, you don't know who you are going to face. I could have prepared against Terrantius because I already knew that I was going to face him, but that match wasn't too important. So if I can't prepare...
He's in the audience, careful.
Yeah, well, the game against Patience wasn't important as well. Lower bracket games are important for me. To come back to the question though, in a tournament like this, I prepare not. I try to think spontaneously, So I try to just play my best and see what I can do after the first map. I try to
But you got
find out
Mm-hmm.
the play style of my opponent, and yeah.
I was more going in the direction because, of course, you know, you watch a lot of StarCraft, you play, you have general knowledge of these players. Like, you know how Red likes to play, and then you also know how Bly likes to play. So you approach that different, right?
Yeah, like I said, I try to play the first map very normal, and then I get a feeling of how he's going to play, so I can prepare then for the next map. I'm good at thinking spontaneously. Sometimes it doesn't work, but sometimes it does, and this time it worked.
Well, congratulations, man. I think you played very well, and I can't wait to see you in the group stage.
Yeah, best of luck in the group stages. Heromarine, our second place finisher from the open bracket number 1. We're going to be going into open bracket number 2 when we come back to find out which 2 players are going to advance from there. And remember, once we finish that, we have the decider match from both of the open brackets. If you've missed any of the action, make sure to check out plays.tv. It's where all the StarCraft, if you're just tuning in, is still around. We'll be right back with open bracket number 2.